Could I have quiet, please, for the arrival of the President of Ireland, Mary McAleese.
Uachtaráin agus a chairde, ta ahas orm. These words were spoken in recent days by two distinguished visitors who honoured us all by their visits to our country. Tonight, we are happy and honoured by the presence of our own distinguished guest, Her Excellency Mary McAleese, President of Ireland. President McAleese, an honorary fellow of this college, has paid a great tribute to us by accepting to be conferred with the first honorary degree of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, the highest academic award that this college can bestow. I'm delighted to welcome you all here this evening to share in this historic event for our college. I now formally declare the RCSI conferring ceremony open and invite Professor Hannah McGee, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, to come forward and read the citation for Her Excellency Mary McAleese, President of Ireland.
Your Excellency, President McAleese, Professor Elish McGowan, President of RCSI, Deputy Chief Executive Dr. Terry McQuaid, members of Council and of the Platform Party of the Medicine and Health Sciences Board of RCSI, the RCSI Student Union representatives, the Chancellor and Registrar of NUI, President of Penang Medical College, graduands, teachers, colleagues and guests this evening of RCSI. A piece of history is being revisited this evening and a piece of history is being made. In her inaugural speech as President 14 years ago in 1997, President McAleese committed to building bridges between people north and south, Catholic and Protestant, rich and poor, haves and have-nots. Within 6 months of her inauguration, in May in fact in 1998, the RCSI awarded her with its highest professional honour, that of Honorary Fellow of the RCSI. And on this platform, standing in this spot, the RCSI Fellowship Citation, as read then by Vice President Professor Tom Hennessy, read as follows. It said, "Since her inauguration, she has brought to the office of President the unique qualities of compassion, openness and communication. These augur well for the future, and they make the prayer, ut unum sint, that they may be one, a realistic aspiration for this island." That was Professor Hennessy's words in 1998. Well, we now know that this aspiration has been achieved by the President, both in a symbolic way, in the very recent historic visit to Ireland of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of England, and the first British monarch in Ireland in 100 years. And indeed, it has been achieved in very many practical ways over those 14 years, in which people on this island and across these two neighbouring islands can and do work together better than ever before. We are delighted in the RCSI to acknowledge the importance of these recent symbolic events and to acknowledge the central role of Her Excellency, President McAleese, as a bridge builder in enabling these many achievements to take place. We in RCSI have recently had the quality of our degree awarding programmes acknowledged by the Irish State through the signing of bylaws allowing for independent degree awarding status by the Minister for Education and Skills. In addition to the powers to award licentiates and fellowships, therefore, this gives the RCSI, for the first time in its 227-year history, the independent right to award academic degrees. We were proud to have President McAleese visit us here in 1998 within 6 months of her inauguration, to bestow the highest professional honour we could on her through our Honorary Fellowship. Little were we to know that 14 years later, we are even more proud this evening, within the last 6 months of a remarkable 14 years as President of Ireland, that she returns to this very same spot to accept now our invitation to receive our highest academic honour. President McAleese has accepted our invitation to be the first person ever to receive a degree from the RCSI. As the first citizen of this country, and more personally for us at RCSI during her presidency, as patron of our 2 international campuses, RCSI Bahrain and Penang Medical College, this is a most deserved first award that brings upon us very great pleasure this evening in its conferring. Madam President of RCSI, I now have the honour to request that you confer the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Science, the highest academic honour of this Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, on the President of Ireland, President Mary McAleese.
Mar dúirt banríon Éilís dó, beag ná caiicí seo hin, óachtarrán agus a cardide, díomh go léir, chun is a táisih. Táisih a bhád níos fearr ná go mbeidh. Raus, furafa. Is mór an pleisiir dús agus do mar chéile, bheithe seo I bhfuair meas go nocht, agus ba bhaith le mo fíor bhuichas sa cornúildíomh as an coró, ach go hairithe as an honour speisialta seo, un Coláiste Riga na Manla and Éireann. I was only a short time in office, as you heard earlier, in 1998, when this college made me an honorary fellow, as it had all previous presidents back to Sean T. O'Kelly. I was very touched then by your kindness, by your faith in me, and since that time I have often been a recipient of your hospitality. And tonight, in the closing months of my tenure of presidential office, I'm once again deeply touched by the award of this, the first honorary doctorate of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and particularly happy to be in the company of so many very happy people here tonight who, with the exams behind them, have their future in front of them and can really enjoy this evening without the pain of knowing that tomorrow there is more writing to be done, more clinical assessments. It's behind you now. Well done to each and every one of you. Maybe we could give them all a round of applause for their accomplishment. So I hope you're in very, very relaxed form tonight. It's actually hard to imagine, frankly, that this institution, with its history, that actually spans the 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st centuries, could have many firsts left to achieve. And yet the college's recent success in petitioning the Minister for Education to grant it independent degree awarding status was, I'm sure, every bit as thrilling as was the success of its predecessor, the Dublin Society of Surgeons, when in 1781 it petitioned the then Lord Lieutenant to be incorporated separately from the Barbers. Just about the time, in fact, that the British government bought Áras an Uachtaráin. They didn't know it was ever going to be called Áras an Uachtaráin, obviously, but it was then bought to be the house of the Lord Lieutenant or Viceroy. So there's a little link back to those days. Both processes, the process that was initiated back in 1871 and completed with the charter granted by George III, I think in 1784, if I'm right, and the obtaining then from the Minister for Education of the right to degree awarding status last year, these processes involved the most extensive scrutiny and assessment. And I warmly congratulate the college and its staff on the huge amount of effort that went into achieving degree awarding status. And so it's a particular pleasure for me to receive the first honorary degree, though, Hannah, as you remarked, Dean, it definitely must be more than a little galling for my daughter to see me graduate with so little effort on my part. I'm going to hear more about this, I know, when I go home. The still reasonably recent celebrations of the 225th anniversary of your charter, and indeed the 200th anniversary of moving to this the St Stephen's Green landmark site, rightly gave a celebratory focus to the past, that long, long and distinguished past. But tonight, I think, is something quite different, because tonight is a firm statement of intent about the future. And already the next century at RCSI is off to a really very good start. This college has seen many students, many staff, many Irelands come and go, but a unifying thread holds them all, and it's summarised in the motto, which is actually more than a motto, it's a charism of this college: Concilio Manuque, scholarship and dexterity. The class of 2011 have invested deeply and clearly well in scholarship and dexterity, and they join this week in their graduation ceremonies. They will join the ranks of generations of ambassadors for the RCSI, as they leave here with much more than its parchments and its certificates, important though they are. They leave with the imprint of RCSI. They will carry that imprint to their professional lives and through their professional lives. And I congratulate each and every one of you. I wish you well as you graduate this week into what is, in effect, not the end of anything, but the beginning of something very special. It's the assumption of a guardianship of a very sacred trust of care, a trust of care for the human beings who will seek your professional help, a trust of care for the profession which has expressed its trust in you this week, and care for the values of the RCSI. No two of you will travel any more than you have travelled the same journey to get here. No two of you will travel the same life's journey from this point on. But individually and collectively, you will write new chapters in the history of the healing arts. Those chapters will be written all over the world for international and multiculturalism, were hallmarks of RCSI. Indeed, they were set in stone in the RCSI long before multiculturalism was even an acknowledged term in Ireland. In fact, it's from the RCSI we learnt how to be multicultural. This college has effected a formidable global ambassadorship for Irish medical education with students and graduates from all over the world. I cannot count the number of times, and Martin and I have travelled all around the world representing Ireland, the many events that we've travelled all over the world, and somebody will always come up in a receiving line or at some stage in the trip and say to us, I'm a graduate of RCSI, a proud graduate, and you very rarely meet them in ones. They tend to hunt in packs around the world. And in more recent years, of course, we've seen, as we've heard, the tremendous success of the campuses in Malaysia, in Bahrain. Those of us like me who have been privileged to see those campuses and to see in particular that wonderful facility most recently in Bahrain will know of the heartache, the deep, deep heartache and anxiety that's been generated by this period of civil unrest in that beautiful island. And I know that all of us look forward to the state of emergency being lifted in the time frame now that has been announced, and to the respectful consideration of the human rights, the fundamental freedoms, including those of the medical personnel whom I know are close to your heart, who care for all who are injured. It was Yeats, the great poet, who said that education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. And that passion that is the internal curiosity, the great intellectual curiosity, that is something that is so often transmitted to a student by a good teacher. How many people have it to say that their choice of career, their choice of profession, their choice of passion in life was helped, given a gentle nudge by a good teacher? And so this evening, we should be very, very grateful for the faculty of RCSI, for their role in the professional formation that takes the raw, enthusiastic student and makes of him or her a consummate professional, a trusted professional. And in particular, we hope a professional whose passion for this great vocation and these values of RCSI will never diminish over their lifetime. Families and friends who are also here tonight, and some who cannot be here, they will have watched these years of transformation with great pride. And so the ritual of this week's graduation ceremonies is a wonderful time, a happy celebratory time of shared and deep satisfaction as graduates, families and teachers gather to mark the day when a new door opened in a life and let the future in. It was Pope John Paul who said, "The future starts today, not tomorrow." Though actually he didn't know very much about hangovers from Irish dinners. So I suggest that we actually remind ourselves of that tomorrow sometime. In any case, enjoy it well. I'm very privileged, as I say, to be here on this occasion. I can't tell you just how profoundly moved I feel to be the very first name entered in that book. I hope there will be many, many, many names entered in that book, and that every one of them will bring distinction to the name of RCSI and will enjoy what they set out to enjoy when they started their studies here. A career that fulfills them, a life that fills them with joy, a life of giving, of generous giving to other, that confers on them respect and brings respect back to this great institution. Gura mille maith agaibh.